And gentlemen, boys and girls, Salami Squad around the world. We are the Meat Pack, and this is the Meat Pack Sports Talkshow. I am your host, Michael Rogers. Got two co-hosts with me. Michael Richman, say what up.
Salami Squad, what is up?
In the building, Mr. Nicholas Twigg in the cut like a barber.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. How we doing? It is Tuesday. It is 11/17/2020. Another beautiful weekend of football went on. Y'all have some good weekends, I hope so.
Yeah, it was pretty good, dude. It was some good games to watch.
Good games to watch. Fun football. Just going to jump right into it here. Last night's game, we've been kind of joking throughout the season about some of these primetime games having such bad teams, being such bad games that they turned out good. Yesterday's game just fucking sucked. Bad teams, was not fun to watch. Primetime Cousins, though, first Cousins breaking the curse, shining. Didn't really play that good, but he finally won a game in primetime. And a couple questions raised for me from this game. The Bears defense didn't look too bad. Only holding Dalvin to 90 yards and him not being as productive as he has been the past couple of weeks. But it looks like to me, I don't think the Bears win another game this season, dude. Maybe one or two. I just have no more trust in that organization. That offense just hasn't been able to figure it out. Nick Foles is clearly not the guy. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how they got in the position they're in right now. To obviously lose to the Vikings. Everything I think yesterday pointed to the Bears probably winning that game. We were reading a lot of stats on our Monday night preview. So I don't think either team looked very good. But I sit here right now. Do you guys think the Vikings could possibly get in the playoffs, maybe 7th seed?
I really doubt it. I don't think both these teams are really going anywhere. I know Bears start out season 5-1, now sitting at 5-5, which is pretty crazy to me. But I don't see much extended run on either of these teams. They're just kind of bottom tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, the game was kind of boring to watch, I'm not going to lie, for being a primetime game. I didn't actually finish out the fourth quarter, so I didn't see Nick Foles get hurt. Saw the highlight today, but Nick Foles went down with a right leg / hip injury. But they're going into a bye week, and he's most likely going to be ready for week 12. But, that's literally happened last night, so we'll see as more news develops on that. But the only person that was playing good for the Bears on the offense was Cordarrelle Patterson.
Sorry,
I can't say that name. My man was having a game, dude. It was really good to see. People are starting to talk about comparisons between him and Devin Hester.
Yeah, as
That's laughable.
Because he was on the Vikings. I know he spent a year with the Patriots, but he's got 9 kickoff returns in his career. It's just good to have a lot of guys don't really come around the league that often that are just kind of, just handle business in that department, I guess. I know Tyreek Hill's ran a couple back. It's different. You got punt returners, you got kick returners, and on the kick return, that man's a beast. He had a great highlight last year. I don't know if you guys remember, but they had him running one back. Remember they do the camera, right over top, dude, that sick view. He had one of those. That was 8 or 9. I think he's got a couple punt returns. It's crazy. This guy's a wide receiver who was playing running back by committee yesterday for the Bears. They have the worst rushing attack in the league, and
definitely like seeing that. But with the Bears here, it's they're kind of having a little bit of an Adam Gase type scenario where everyone's talking up Matt Nagy. You're hearing how great of a coach he is, and then what is this? Their 4th straight loss. They're really kind of struggling right now.
Went to the playoffs twice though with Mitch Trubisky as his quarterback, 10-6.
Fair argument.
I think
this season is looking rough, brother.
Yeah, it is. They're just not a good football team, and like you said, the fact that they've lost 4 in a row and are still sitting at 5-5 is crazy. I don't know if they don't. I don't know. You could try and put Mitch back in because maybe he gives you a little more ability.
I don't know why you don't at least try at this point, especially with Nick Foles being at least a little bit injured, even if he's only a little bit banged up and is okay to play. I think it's worth a shot. Nick Foles is not getting it done. I
think if he will be ready to play, they would go with Foles for one more game. I think if they lose another, you just have to give Mitch a try. I don't know. They're probably just putting all their baskets into Foles because he's got a couple years left on his deal. They still owe him some money. So, I don't know. Just a stinker of a game to watch. Primetime Cousins, though, boy.
Got it done.
He's here, boy. So get ready for that. I moved down the list here. We got some Texans, Cleveland. This game was just kind of iffy to me. The Browns offense has just been struggling the past couple weeks. Obviously, we saw Nick Chubb come back, and I've been saying this from the jump. The Cleveland Browns need to be aware that this is what type of football team they need to be. I know they only scored 10 points. Could have had another touchdown, Nick Chubb. But, this is his first game back. They get themselves a W, and this is the first rushing touchdown they've had as a team since week 4, who coincidentally was Nick Chubb. So I think that's just what this team is. I think Baker is good enough to where if they play that kind of football, do it right, that ground and pound, just smash the ball up the middle, because Nick Chubb isn't just a guy. I think he's the guy, who's a franchise player. So, Baker only throwing the ball 20 times a game. It's just the combination of running backs between Nick Chubb can get you 150 on the ground. Kareem Hunt can do some work on the ground too, but then he can get you, a nice 40, 50, 60 receiving out the backfield. And then that's just going to open such big plays up for you to go downfield to Juice Landry and all them. So I don't know. That was just another kind of stinker game for me to watch. Low scoring game. I didn't see it all, but I don't know. What'd you guys see from that one?
Yeah, I saw it was a pretty low scoring game. I saw the line was set Browns minus 3.5.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the game, I saw Nick Chubb like an 80-yard run, went out of bounds.
Yep.
If I bet the Browns minus 3.5, something would have got smashed. That was
he had it right there.
Hard to watch.
Definitely rough for the bettors. This game was actually delayed for 37 minutes because they had 50-mile-per-hour winds.
Oh, I saw that.
Have you ever felt 50-mile-per-hour wind? Like, that's insane.
That is insane.
But honestly, we were talking about how Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb were just going to run all over this terrible run defense Texans, and that's exactly what happened. They both ran for over 100 yards, and they're just pounded the ball. I mean, there wasn't a high-scoring game, but they dominated them on the line of scrimmage and were just able to move the ball with running. Like, Baker didn't even have to throw. Then on the other side of the ball, Deshaun Watson looked pretty good. He was 20 for 30, 163 yards with a touchdown. No interceptions. It's just a tough loss.
That's too bad, too, because I think Deshaun Watson is that guy. I think he's so good, but just a shit roster kind of put together around him. But with the Browns, too, I mean, the reason they just could be that running team is because they actually have a really good offensive line. They went out and got we got a question here, Mr. Huncho Ric Flair. Shout out. If you switch the QBs, who's the better team? Is he talking Browns Texans?
Yeah.
I think Browns remain
clearly
team regardless.
I agree.
You put Deshaun Watson on there. I think Deshaun Watson is a generational talent. I mean, I think this guy legitimately could have a gold jacket around him in 20 years. We saw what he did at Clemson, and he's just so good, but I don't know what's not clicking down there in Texas, but you put Deshaun Watson on that team, dude. It's fucking over. Are you kidding me? I mean, like I said, they have really good offensive line play. Like I'm saying, I think, what was the score last week against the Raiders? I'm not remember, but then for them to come out and only score 10, I mean, I get it, a win's a win, but for just having that much offensive firepower, it's just weird to me to think that. What the fuck was I saying?
They should just be scoring more points. You're 100% right. Like we talk about on paper teams this season. Looking at their roster, like healthy before Odell goes down, obviously is pretty disgusting. But going back to our question here, talking Browns, Eagles, switch quarterbacks.
That's a tough one. I think you probably get similar numbers with Deshaun Watson being on the Eagles. The offensive line is just so banged up that I don't think it really matters who you put back there at this point. But I don't know. I still go back to the notion that I do think Carson Wentz is playing injured. You just don't lose that much talent from year to year. So I don't know. You're kind of splitting hairs at that point.
And you might make a good point because he might be. And then obviously it's kind of like if I was injured, what if Jalen Hurts comes in, dude, and just lights the fucking thing up? I mean, I think Philly has all their eggs in Carson Wentz's basket. They believe in him. He's just not playing good football this year. I definitely think they run it back. Hopefully it's a fluke, but I don't know about that one. I think he's trash, but it is what it is, dude. Texans, Cleveland. There you go. Going to keep going down the line. Twiggy, I want to hand this one to you. Some Washington-Detroit action. Detroit obviously got the win, dude, but why are they such a mediocre team, dude? I don't get it.
For the Lions, you mean?
For the Lions, dude, I just don't get it.
I just think with their star receiver not being there, I forget Kenny Galladay not being there.
A monster,
I just think they lose a lot of offensive firepower with that alone. And their defense is super banged up as well. They don't have the best secondary. That's pretty at the bottom of the tier of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we beating a dead horse again with this, but Matt Stafford is just past his prime. He's just not really the same anymore.
Hey.
I think they just need to establish the running game more with DeAndre Swift. He put up 2 touchdowns.
He's looking like a beast, dude.
Yeah,
Great.
I think they should just scheme around him for the most part. And another thing, this is Alex Smith's first game starting since he broke his leg in like 18 places.
Yeah.
Kind of balling, bro.
And he threw up like 400 yards.
He's kind of balling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
he went
expect to see that one.
38 for 55, 390 yards for Alex Smith. What a fucking game. Like, honestly,
God,
shout
I
out
mean,
him. Like, that's crazy. Coming off that injury, too. This was a pretty interesting game. The Lions were up 24-3 in the third quarter, and then the game ended 30-27. So Washington was like doing its thing there. It came down to Matt Stafford, had 16 seconds, got 2 quick completions. They got a little help from a PI call, and then Matt Prater drilled a 59-yard field goal, and that was it. Quick little stat here. Matt Stafford tied Joe Montana for 17th most touchdown passes in NFL history this game at 273. So, I mean, he's down there on the list, but hey, adds to the legacy for Detroit a little bit.
Yeah, a bunch of 7-9 records. So just keep adding on to that. That's what it's going to be. But yeah, good for Alex Smith, dude, balling. Washington's got a couple pieces, dude. Scary Terry's really coming into his own. He's looking like a stud young player. Chase Young had a kind of lost in the game there at the end with just a stupid, unnecessary call there at the end of the game, him pushing Matt Stafford. But football team's got some nice pieces. Detroit, I don't know. I don't know what to make of them anymore. I don't feel like talking about them. So we're going to move on to some Tampa Bay Buccaneers and some Carolina Panthers. I think we all knew this. What were the points total? 50. The over on for that we said was definitely going to be a gimme. I think so too. The Bucs should have won this game. They did win this game. I saw some stat that the Bucs I think they've had 3 games where they've won by 20 points. They're the only team in the NFL to do that. So like when they're hot, when they're on, they're on. That offense is really powerful. And like, I mean, up against the Panthers, I don't know. We can take that how it is. So the biggest thing I just want to say here, we haven't talked about their game yet. Twig, I just want to get into it with you though. As of right now, are the Bucs or the Saints a better football team?
I think with Jameis Winston becoming the Saints' new starting quarterback, I think that's going to make a huge difference. I would say probably now on paper, it's the Bucs got to be the front runners. I would imagine. I would assume you agree with me on that as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, hey. First of all, the fact that fucking Drew Brees had a collapsed lung and a couple broken ribs and 1,000 hand licks, dude, and just decided, fuck it, I'm going to go out there and play. That's insane to me, dude. You know what I mean? But Jameis, Jameis comes in. Listen, they've obviously played the Bucs twice this year and actually beat them, so we can give them that. But, I think part of that, too, is Jameis in that quarterback room. He knows exactly what they're fucking going to run, because of Bruce Arians' offense. But, I don't know if Winston's going to get that done. I mean, we'll talk about that here in a little bit more. When,
it's going to be interesting to see if he shares snaps with Taysom Hill as well.
Listen, I'm going to give a hot take, dude. I like me some Taysom Hill, but he wanted to go and get paid as a starting quarterback this year. There's just nothing indicates to me that this dude's a starting quarterback in the league. He obviously has made good plays on the ground and whatnot, but Jameis Winston has literally thrown more completions to Saints players than Taysom Hill has in his career. So, I mean, as a passer, I get he's a super ultimate utility player. Players will forever be compared to, he's a Taysom Hill type. There's a lot of talks about your boy there in Philly. What's his name? Jalen Hurts kind of providing that role, which they've just completely mishandled there in Philly. But I think definitely Winston gets to start. And then, I mean, what does that lead to? I mean, is he possibly, I mean, if Drew decides to call it, you think he stays with the Saints or, because my biggest thing is I sit here and look at the whole situation, like he would have got paid to go be a quarterback somewhere, but he decided that I'm just going to take a couple $1,000,000, come sit behind Drew Brees for a year, which I think is good for him, is needed. But I bet Sean Payton's probably in his ear telling him, hey, listen, you just come here for a year or two. We can learn under Drew Brees. Whenever he decides to walk away, we're going to hand this fucking thing over to you and see what he can do. I mean, that's my impression from the whole thing. I don't know what you guys think.
I just think if he can adjust his turnover problem, he can be a quality starting quarterback.
Oh, for sure.
He can easily throw for 5,000 yards in a season. Like, that's not out of the question for him.
He's got the talent for sure.
He just got to fix his turnovers, and it's a different ball game.
We have to. I saw some shit too where he got some surgery on his eyes over the offseason. I think an NFL quarterback, like 6 years into his career, whatever it was, would know maybe something's off with his eyes. But yeah, I mean, the shit he pulled off last season, obviously the 30 interceptions is always going to be the 30 interceptions. But when you throw the ball fucking 50, 60 times a game, that's what's going to happen. So if he can learn to just not make as many mistakes, I think the talent's there. I mean, he didn't win a Heisman for no reason, for no reason. So I'm with it. I'd like to see him, keep a starting job. But yeah, that was some Panthers actions with a little bit of Saints in there. So we're going to move on to the next game, a game I fucking hit the nail on the head. Giants-Eagles. Like I said, dude, I don't know what to say about the Eagles anymore. I'm sitting here like I think the Giants can fuck around and win this division. Me and you were talking last night, Mike. If Saquon was on this football team right now, I think they definitely would. This is 2 games in a row now that Danny Dimes, a.k.a. White Lightning, has had no turnovers, no mistakes. And, for being what was he, 3rd, 4th, 5th pick overall, 6th, I think, a couple years ago, to think we're praising him for that now, 2 years in, 3 years in, whatever it is, you thought he'd maybe be that by now. But I think he's been looking solid. Giants play hard. I think the Eagles play really hard too. The Eagles play really hard football. That defense plays really hard. I don't know. Something's just going on there. I don't know. Talk to the Eagles fans.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch this game, but it's just the same thing week in and week out. It's just not good football. I think the Giants might steal this division as well. It's just theirs to lose at this point. But I think you're going to end up getting a playoff team out of this division with a losing record, which is just still crazy to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Insane. I'm still sticking to the Birds here. I think they end up winning the division, but the Giants would obviously be in that second place, like you were saying. Like, imagine if Saquon was still there. But also on the other side, imagine if Zeke was having any good carries. Zeke is still playing. He's not
going on with him, dude.
That's a whole nother situation. But just going to these Eagles, this game was just so ugly from Carson Wentz. I mean, he didn't turn the ball over, but his decision making has been so bad this game and all year. He didn't convert 1 third down pass, and he hasn't posted a QBR better than the opposing QB at one time this year, just getting outplayed every week by the opposing quarterback. Obviously, this week there's a couple other issues. There's a couple bad, really low snaps. Carson couldn't really get his hand on them. But just overall with the Eagles' decision and play calling, I think Dougie P is just fucking it up right now. First of all, Doug Peterson does not have an offensive coordinator. He's just on the sideline doing it all. Every time they score, throws up the deuces. We're going for 2. I don't actually hate that, but my biggest gripe with their play calling is just they're not running the ball enough. Miles Sanders is an insane talent, and he has never had more than 20 carries in one game. Miles Sanders had 15 carries for 85 yards this game. Boston Scott had 3 carries for 63 yards and a touchdown. And Corey Clement even busted in 1 carry for a 5-yard touchdown. So we have this crazy rotation of backs, and they're just not utilizing them at all.
Yeah, I think they should start running a running back by committee with Boston Scott and Miles Sanders. I think Boston Scott is probably one of the most underrated players in the league that just does not get playing time. Every time he plays the Giants, he absolutely torches them as well. He definitely should have got more snaps in this game, but in hindsight, it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see an offensive coordinator get in there and, just give some help. I'm not saying Doug's decision-making is terrible all the time, but I just think it's an NFL team. How do you not have a full roster on the coaching staff? I don't understand that.
I mean, a lot of guys do that, but at the same time, I think your boy there walking to him Wentz's decision making is pretty shite itself too sometimes. So, but hey, at the same time, Doug Peterson called the Philly, so that goes down in history. So
Iconic.
You want Philly? Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. This division, that's just a week by week. Who the fuck knows, dude? It's crazy what's going on in that division. But yeah, we're just going to continue past that game. Got some Jaguars, Green Bay Packers, A-Rod and the boys. The game was on paper, it looked closer than I think it actually was on TV. I think the Green Bay just made a couple mistakes. Where, hey, that boy Luton for the Jags ain't looking too shabby. Didn't play crazy, but it was a close game. It's the 2 games in a row where the Jags have looked pretty competitive and probably taken some big positive chunks out of these last 2 games they've played. But I need them to fucking win another game, dude. Like, I need them to win another game. They can't have Trevor Lawrence. They won't have Trevor Lawrence. But yeah, A-Rod just walked in there, threw a pick, which is crazy to think because quarterbacks throw picks all the time. But when you see Aaron Rodgers throw a pick, it's kind of like, oh shit moment. He just doesn't do it. He's got a crazy ratio. But yeah, it was all right. I mean, I don't have too much to take away from this game. Green Bay did what they should have done, and I don't know, unless you guys got some.
Yeah, a couple highlights. Keelan Cole for the Jags had a 90-yard punt return, which is longest in franchise history. And he absolutely fucking ruined J.K. Scott's ankles at the end of that. Can't show the clip here because NFL will shut our small shit down here. But just like, dude, he was gone.
Crossed his ass up, dude.
Crossed him up, literally. And then on the other side, we've been talking a lot about MVS just kind of not really being the weapon he needs to be for Aaron Rodgers. But these past 2 weeks, he's kind of gone off. This week, he only had 4 receptions, but for 149 yards and a touchdown. And when he can literally catch 2 balls, it just takes so much pressure off of Devontae Adams. Just opens up the field so much more.
I know, and it's kind of like, especially down in the playoffs, we're going to get to a point where Devontae Adams is going to get doubled every snap. So those other guys got to step up. The MVSs, the Lazards, the Tanyans there at the tight end. Those guys are going to have to make big plays because, Devontae Adams is good enough to where he's probably going to do his thing anyways, but teams are going to start locking him up. You're going to have to start making other decisions. But MVS, I like him. I don't love him, but he's a solid little player, number 2.
I believe he's in his 3rd year. He's still learning. He's a young guy.
He got some time. So that's some Packers Jags action. Is going to keep moving down the line to what I thought. Well, we're going to talk about this for a second. We have some Bills Cardinals action.
That was a crazy game.
Crazy game. And listen, I'm not going to lie. I think the Bills were the better team yesterday. I think they should have won that. It obviously kind of thought they did. I think everyone thought, but Kyler fucking Murray threw the craziest throw, like a 67-yard bomb, and that boy DeAndre Hopkins nuke went up there and got that fucking thing, dude. Like that was insane. Triple coverage, and here's what's crazy: covered by Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, and Trey White. Those are 3 like Pro Bowl level dudes. Like those aren't fucking scrubs back there, dude. And like I know he's bigger and taller than all of them, but he just went up there and snatched that sucker out the sky, dude. One of the greatest pictures I think I've ever seen. There's like a close-up shot of all their hands on the glove, and there's a picture of like an Adidas logo, and the other dude had the
Jumpman logo
gloves. Then the Jumpman DeAndre Hopkins on that Jordan brand shit, which I think the people over at Jordan are going to have the PR field day of their life. Beautiful picture. Like I said, though, the Bills should have probably won that game. Kyler Murray made it happen. To me right now, Kyler Murray is in some serious MVP talks right now, just to lighten it up. I mean, he's doing what Lamar did last year, and he has a better arm than Lamar. So
let me give you his stats from this game. He had 245 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 61 rushing yards, and 2 rushing TDs for Kyler Murray. It's insane.
And if he keeps that up, he'll be able to pull those numbers off as long as he wants. Like I said, he always has had a better arm than Lamar. Can obviously use his legs. Like I was about to say, like his height's always been a concern, but he's just been figuring it out. They got a solid ass team. I sit here, if I'm the Texans today, dude, I'm sitting here punching the fuck out of the TV. I don't get it. And listen, I don't want to take anything away from David Johnson or that trade, but how the fuck? I just don't get it.
Just a bad trade.
D-Hop's balling out there in Arizona. Kyler Murray's balling. Defense looks all right. Like, that's a serious team, and they obviously lead in the division right now. They have the Seahawks this upcoming Thursday. That's going to decide a lot of shit in that division. Stay tuned, though, because we're going to make a separate video for that in the next day or two. But, yeah, that'll be fun to watch. But, I think the Bills are going to be all right. I mean, that happens. It's a fucking Hail Mary. It's called a Hail Mary for a reason. You're just throwing it up there, and D-Hop came down with it. So, I think the Bills are just fine. Cardinals, man, are looking legit, though. Kyler Murray's looking legit. Going to be a household name. I fuck with Kyler Murray, bro. Straight Ewok City, bro. The dude's just running all over the fucking gaff out there. So I like it. Yeah, that was some Bills and Cardinals action. Great fucking game, dude. Cardinals have just been electric to watch this year. That offense is just been electric. Super fun to watch. Insane.
Their kicker as well, Zane Gonzalez, dual threat kicker punter. All right, boys, 4 for 4 this week. But he's 22 for 25 on the career, just helping that offense insane. But looking on the other side, Josh Allen got the job done. It came down to a defensive stop that they didn't get. And in all reality, they did get the stop. It was just probably the play of the year at this point.
I think so.
And then on their offense, boy, Cole Beasley actually stepped up, had 11 receptions for 109 yards and a touchdown against Patrick Peterson. That's nothing to wink at.
Is that how you say it? Nothing to wink at. Yeah, Pat Pete ain't no scrub, so yeah, good for him. Fun game to watch. We're going to move along, though, to the next game. Got some Chargers, Dolphins, Tua, Herbert. Listen, same old Chargers. I mean, right, this has just been the story this year. Playing hard, looking good, just not being able to get it done at the end. Tua is 3-0 as a starter. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Dolphins are a playoff team, dude. I'm telling you, dude. Dolphins on the rise. Tua coming from Alabama, obviously winning a couple fucking championships. Dude's got a winner mentality. Looks like a leader. We've been talking so much this year about Joey Burrow, Justin Herbert. Tua looks good, dude. He's not making a lot of mistakes. I think Dolphins got to go in Bossa Nova. I think that's a 9-7, 10-6 football team. I don't know. You might think I'm crazy. I think they're right up there with the Bills by the end of the season. Maybe not right now. At worst, that's a fucking wild card team, dude, for sure. They play hard, dude. They play smart, good coaching, solid young players, good veterans. That's a good team.
He's not even putting out that many highlight clips, but he's just doing enough to get the job done.
Just getting it done, dude.
He's just playing so consistent and not making mistakes. Mm-hmm. And for a rookie, that's all you really need. It's just they look super good. Their defense is pretty stacked as well. I don't feel like that doesn't get as much coverage as it should. And I think they can be another sneaky playoff team like you just mentioned.
Yep.
I agree. Tua's looking better and better every week. He went 15 for 25, 169 yards, and 2 TDs. And like Twigg was just saying, their defense is so good. So even by the off chance Tua has a bad drive, they go 3 and out, they're going to get a hold, or that special teams will get a block. They're a 3-phase football team. Yep. They're really just playing very well everywhere. And it's the 5th straight win for Miami. Like, it's really good. And this Charger team is actually really legit. This just is not their year. I think in years to come, they're pretty well set up for success with Herbert and squad, but just 2-7 at this point, or 2-8, whatever the fuck, it's just not good.
And they've looked good every game, just not being able to figure it out. And I don't know, dude. Tua might come out of this class on top, dude. Like I said, just the leadership and the experience being at Alabama and whatnot, and that's why I said I've kind of liked Joey Burrow over Justin Herbert, because maybe Justin Herbert from a numbers wise, from a size wise, looks better, but something about Joey B and just the attitude and the leadership and the confidence, obviously coming from college. That's why I like those. And, I had my talk about Tua the other week, which I'm definitely eating that. I think, he's completely justified too, them taking Fitzpatrick out. He's figuring it out, dude. Like Twigg said, I think is the perfect way to describe Tua. I mean, he's got a deadly accurate arm, but just does what he has to do to get a win. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be flashy. He's just going to go out there and figure it out. So I think that's going to be really good down there in Miami. So yeah, we'll move on. We were just talking about them. Has some Seahawks Rams game, which I had going in. I had the Rams. I like the Rams. I think we need to start being honest with ourselves. I've heard a couple people say some things, saw some tweets. What did the Seahawks do good that isn't Russell Wilson? You know what I mean?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. They got good players. Like on defense, they have the Jamal Adams, Bobby Wagner, who can be good individually because they are, but just nothing on. If Russell Wilson is not the quarterback of that football team, that's a terrible football team. I just don't understand. Mike, I know you've said you kind of feel the same way with the Rams, how we do about the Bears. Don't really see how they're doing good, dude. But listen, I like Goff, dude. That they're just very shifty on offense and just figure out how to do some things. They're very creative. And that defense is a fucking monster, dude. I think the Rams are not an offensive team, dude. That defense's numbers this year are insane. You obviously have probably one of the best players in the league in Aaron Donald. Down there. But yeah, I don't know. I got to be honest with myself about the Seahawks, dude. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team at all anymore. I know this is only 2 losses, back to back. So that might be a little harsh, but I just don't like what I'm seeing. I don't think this gets you very far in the playoffs. I think it's all just falling apart. And listen, like I said, I know the Rams have a very, very good defense, but this is 2 games in a row where, as good as Russell Wilson is, he just has to make so much shit happen that he's going to fuck around and throw picks. And obviously DKs and the Tyler Lockett's are good and whatnot, but they're not good without Russell Wilson. And that team does absolutely nothing well. They haven't been rushing the ball good. That's not named Russell Wilson. So I don't know, dude. I'm kind of off the Seahawks.
Yeah, we have this every week again, but just in order to even have a competitive game, Russ needs to go out there and shoot out. There's no presence of a rushing attack on that team. DJ Dallas is only going to get you so far. So, I mean, if Lockett and Metcalf don't have huge games, they're just going to end up blowing it. It's all there is to it, really. I think Russ is falling farther and farther behind every week in the MVP race. Yeah. I think Kyler and Aaron Rodgers probably had him at this point. So
still no Patty Mahomes in that conversation, bro. That makes no sense to me, dude. How?
I don't know. We'll see.
The Seahawks just got to figure it out in the secondary. Like, I don't understand how they have Jamal Adams and are allowing the most points per game.
He's a safety, bro.
I know, but they brought him in saying they're going to start locking some folk up. They're still kind of stuck in the Legion of Boom days. And even with the Legion of Boom, they were allowing yards. They were just hitting folk. But the Seahawks start out the year 5-0, now 6-3. They just lost first place in their division here. But with the playoff expansion this year, they'll probably still make the playoffs. So they do have time to kind of figure it out if they're trying to go on a run here. But you guys just hit it right on the head here. I mean, without Russell Wilson, they're looking that, I'd be surprised if they have 3 wins. It's just tough out here for the Seahawks.
I mean, I still think I don't think they'll have a losing record at all. They're going to win regular season games, but like I said, they're in the playoffs. So it's just going to be rough. A lot of these front sevens are just going to shut that whole thing down. And like you said, their wide receiver DK Metcalf is of another breed, so he's going to do his shit regardless. But Russell's numbers are going to be there. It's just now we're looking at he's turning the ball over because teams are just starting to figure out what they're all about. And I don't know. I got to seriously start talking about the Rams right now, dude. I like the Rams. Like I said, it wasn't the cleanest win, but they look good. They have a really good defense. I like their running backs. Love their wide receiver core. I think Jared Goff is good enough to get it done. He's proven it. He's gone to a Super Bowl. So
I agree with you at this point. I've been shitting on the Rams for a while, the Rams offense here this past couple of weeks, but they really just got the job done. I mean, Jared Goff was throwing absolute dime passes, and they would just move the ball up the field, and then they get in the red zone, they could just pound it in for a rushing touchdown. So, I don't know. They're legit. You're right. They're definitely in contention.
I got a question for both of you. Are the Rams better than any of these following teams? Are they better than the Cardinals, Packers, Bucks, or Saints?
Not one of them. Maybe the Saints, in my opinion, but
Rams are better than the Cardinals, I think.
That's a hot take.
I trust them more. I just trust them more. I like the defense, but Kyler Murray's got no playoff experience. They've got a hot offense. I like the Rams though. Maybe the Saints too. Maybe. But I like the Rams over the Cardinals. Are those teams? Every other team, no. Bucks are better. Packers are better. I like them over the Cardinals though, for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll write it down. Maybe not. I don't know. I like it though. So that was some Rams Seahawks action. Keep it moving. I got some Bengals Steelies action. Here's another one, dude. Is Big Ben in that fucking conversation, dude? Like, what are we talking about? Dude's been out here whipping that thing, bro.
For
like,
MVP, you're tripping.
I
think comeback player of the year is probably a slam dunk.
Without a doubt.
I don't know. Without this Alex Smith dude coming out here throwing for 400, dude, off a broken leg, son. That's pretty. That's a Disney movie right in itself.
He might get it just because of the sentimental value.
Justin Herbert might star in it.
Not wrong.
Big Ben came out this week, got 333 yards for 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 0 sacks. Like, that's just an elite game. And in the beginning of the season, we were talking about, let's just protect Joey Burrow. Let's let him, do his thing. As soon as he stopped getting hit, he started playing good. These Steelers came out, sacked him 4 times, 9 QB hits, and they had 4 of his passes deflected out of the air in the secondary, and then literally just countless pressure. I didn't see the total stat on the pressures, but they were in Joey Burrow's face, and then they won the game 36-10. Like, they just ate the Bengals up.
Getting his ass ate up, bro, and they should have. That's how that game should have went. That's exactly how it went. Not much you can really do. Bengals just don't really have too many good players to compete with that. So,
if we had to pick one, I really like T. Higgins.
I think I like Tyler Boyd. I like T. Higgins. I like the tight end they got. Obviously, Mixon and Bernard, they got the pieces. But that's just going to take another year or two for them to just, a little more chemistry. Zach Fox and Joe Burrow relationship, build that up a little bit. I don't even know if I like him as their head coach going forward. But I don't know. We'll see about that down the line. Going to move off that game, though. Going to talk about a game we briefly mentioned, a little 49ers Saints action. And the game is what it is. 49ers banged up. Nick Mullins is very spotty. Saints went out and did what they had to do. Then obviously hearing the news that Drew Brees is going to be out. They're not entirely sure for how long. Mike, I know you said maybe this is like a wrap for him, depending on how big it is. We have a buddy of ours that's in the medical field who said collapsed lungs happens all the time, which I'm sure they do. Yeah. But yeah, I don't want to go play football with a fucking collapsed lung. So
and
I don't know.
Broken ribs too.
And some broken ribs, dude. Dude's out here, you know what I mean? It's from all these, dude. He's moving so much, you know what I'm saying? He's probably just scarring up some tissue or something. I don't fucking know.
I don't know. I think realistically speaking, this is not a career-ending injury, but I do think it could affect his play for the rest of his career. I mean, the man's 41. He only got a couple of years max left. I mean, I don't know. I think it's just at least a point to note if his play declines from this injury or not, for the remainder of his career.
Yeah.
But on the other side of it, Nick Mullins, he went 24 for 38, 247 yards, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. I was trying to answer a question to myself, how did the 49ers get better? And they literally just have to get healthy, dude. I think they're fucked this season. They're just dead in the water. Like, all their firepower is on the injury reserve list. It's just so tough.
Get healthy, better quarterback.
They're on their 4th string running back as well. It's definitely not going to help anything.
It's disgusting.
So,
I mean, wow, it's crazy. I mean, Nick Mullins only scored in the first quarter as well, that 1 touchdown, and then didn't really do shit in the other 3 quarters. So that's also something to note. But I don't know, just overall, the Saints were going to win that game. Like, I didn't see the Niners coming out on top.
Nah. Did what they had to do. Going to move on, though, talk about a game that was a little interesting. Got some Baltimore Patriots. Mike, you kind of called it. Patriots kind of came out and did their thing. We've said shit all year about the Ravens and Lamar Jackson that we won't sit here and harp on. They just haven't looked the same. But, I mean, did the fucking Patriots still have a shot? Dude, like, Billy Belichick, dude. We got to figure it out. Get hot. Cam Newton. Yeah. Like, what are we talking about here? Billy Belichick. 8-8.
What is the record as of right now?
I think they're 4-5, dude.
Yeah, they might sneak in there. That's not crazy.
They still got to play the Jets one more time. Like, hey, you know what I mean? Cam Newton, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Game was actually like pretty close. It was actually insane. I don't know if you guys watched this game all the way through, but The Ravens got the ball back with 40 seconds to go, down 6 points. Billy Belichick calls the man upstairs, says, "Hey, we're going to need some weather." Did you see the end of that game? The rain coming down on Lamar was insane. I've actually never seen a game played in rain that bad. It was insane. Like, I don't know if they had to kick a field goal to win this. I mean, obviously they needed 6 points. They needed a touchdown, but it couldn't have even came down to a field goal. It was like divine intervention. Bill Belichick made some calls there, dude. I'm telling you, like,
I bet he's got some names in that phone, dude. He can make some calls, dude, figure some shit out. He's like, who is this? It's fucking Bill Belichick. You got it, sir. And just get shit done. But yeah, good for them. I don't know.
I don't know. I actually can't figure out why they want to win games. I don't think they're on a run at all. Even if they do make it to the playoffs, I see them be eliminated in the first round. If I was them, it's clearly a rebuild in my eyes.
Yeah. But is Cam the long-term option?
No way.
I think he can be if you get the right weapons around him. I don't think he's completely washed as a player.
How many more years does Cam have in the league, would you say? Just your opinion.
Money as he wants.
I'd say about 5 to 6 at least.
What's he, like 31 right now? He could go 36, 37 as long as he wants, as long as he still has it and can stay healthy. But like you said, I think he could be too if they could figure out how to get some weapons around him, which they kind of just low-key haven't been able to figure out. Obviously, Tom Brady's gonna make anybody look good, but you get a guy in there that's not Tom Brady, you start to realize, like, yeah, we actually need some fucking weapons. We need some players that can go over the top. But I don't know, dude. It's all this fucking Bill Belichick system shit. Like, I don't know, dude. They're figuring out how to win football games. I don't know how many more they figure out to win, but I don't know, dude. I think New England is going to be all right. So I don't know. That's an exciting, fun Week 10 of NFL football. That fucking DeAndre Hopkins catch was insane, brother. That was crazy to watch, dude. He just went up and fucking got it. That was
definitely the best play of the year. It's not even really close.
The catch was insane, but I don't think people are talking about the throw enough.
He threw a bomb, dude.
He was running around like a chicken with its head cut off for a couple of seconds, all the way up to the line of scrimmage.
Switching hips. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Aaron Rodgers style. Like, I was saying this to you, offline here, Mike, but, you really only see bombs like that from Aaron Rodgers. I mean, everyone, you make in the NFL, you have the arm strength, but just completed passes like that, Aaron Rodgers is the only really guy to have a couple. And seeing Kyler Murray do that was fucking nuts, dude. I love him more and more every week.
Yeah, he's been playing his ass off. So yeah, shout out to him. But so now we are going to hard cut, get off the NFL. We're going to talk about some NBA. Feels really good to talk about it again. It's fucking short-lived. We just talked about it a couple weeks ago, but the season is literally right around the corner. That's crazy to think about. But because it is around the corner, we're starting to see a lot of trades and shit pop off. There's been a lot of rumors brewing. And over the past couple of days, we've seen some trades. Excuse me. One of the biggest ones happened yesterday I want to talk about is that man CP3, Chris Paul to the Phoenix Suns. One of the biggest questions we're going to ask from that is Phoenix a playoff contender now? And we saw them go 8-0 there in the bubble, look phenomenal. Devin Booker is on his way to being a superstar in this league. Dude, just certified bucket. And so I look at Chris Paul to the Suns. Are they a playoff team? I got to say, yeah, because I think the Suns, I think Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton are better than anything OKC had to offer. Maybe not Ayton at this point. You could say Gallo or something. And Chris Paul took that team to a fucking 4 or 5 seed. Like I said, we talked a while ago about how at this point, I know for a fact Chris Paul probably just wants to win a championship. He has everything but a championship. And now he's kind of getting viewed at and getting bounced around these teams as a guy that's going to come help teach and show young guys how to win a football game or basketball games. But I like Chris Paul to the Suns. I mean, I've loved Devin Booker ever since he entered the league. I like DeAndre Ayton. Sucks they had to give up Kelly Oubre. I think he was doing really good, but I think they like Mikal Bridges. I like Mikal Bridges more than Oubre. Cam Johnson. They got some players, dude. Chris Paul can come in and show those guys how to win some basketball games. But I don't know if it's another 4 or 5 seed. Definitely 8-7 seed, dude. And that's a win for Phoenix, in my opinion. Haven't been to the playoffs in 10 years. I think that's a win in either way. You got Booker's locked up long term, so he's going to be there. So he needs to be there and win. You want to prove to him, show him that, hey, we're going to do what we can to help you win games, because hopefully you don't leave, this and that. So I think this morning, dude, they are 100% a playoff team. Western Conference final team, probably not finals team. I don't think so at all. But I think anything inside the playoff bracket is a win for them. And they could potentially have him for 2 years. Maybe they just rent him this year, trade him again next season. He's still got 2 years left. I don't know what they do there. I like the Phoenix Suns this morning. Twiggy, what do you think?
I think this is a winning trade for both teams. I think for the Suns especially, having Chris Paul on that team, it's going to take a lot of the ball handling away from Devin Booker. Just allow him to get out there and shoot at free
Devin
range.
Booker is so good off the ball too, dude. I'm telling you, he's probably one of him and Klay Thompson are probably the two best two guards to play off the ball. That boy can just shoot the damn thing.
And then for the Thunder side, I think they got a couple good pieces out of this as well. I don't think Rubio's going to be the best starting point guard in the league. But Kelly Oubre is going to provide some solid scoring for you as well. And this is a crazy fact about the Thunder. Between now and 2026,
how many?
16 first-round picks.
What was it?
Oh, my God.
16.
Yeah, but from now until when?
2026.
That's insane. Sam Presti just making shit work. And I've seen some shit too where people talking about, oh, well, he let Harden walk, he let Durant walk, this and that. But you got to think, dude, he's been able to turn Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook, Paul George into all those picks, and they've been in the playoffs every year. Last year would have been the year to not make the playoffs, but they did. Chris Paul, fucking Mr. Lou Gaines Dort in the building, bro, body locking up people up. So, yeah, Sam Presti, dude, shout out. Just fucking cutting deals in that building, dude. Just getting first-round draft picks. And then you got to sit and think they have all that capital. I've said before, it's really probably hard to convince people to want to go to Oklahoma City, want to buy, to live there, essentially. That's what you're going to be doing if you sign a contract there. But you have all them draft picks, dude. They could make a real fucking move. I think they obviously use a couple to maybe see if they can find a player. But you can do so many package deals. My only thing is I've been seeing a lot of reports of what they're going to do with Steven Adams. He's definitely up for trades. I'm not sure where he goes at this point. Steven Adams is a really nice, solid player. He's pretty one-dimensional, which, I guess isn't the worst thing, but it's really only, he's just in kind of that DeAndre Jordan, just a real kind of standard old classic big. Can't really do much besides, kind of pick and roll. He doesn't really space the floor at all. So I don't know how many teams that's enticing to anymore, but he's a really solid player. But he's also played with like Hall of Fame point guards his whole career. So I don't know. I'd like to see him in another environment. Not sure where he goes. That'd just be more draft capital for them. But Suns in the playoffs is a bucket, dude. I'm actually really excited to see that. I think 4 or 5 years down the line, Devin Booker is going to be in some MVP conversations. He could fuck around and score 35 a night, I think, if he wants to. But I like that trade, man. That was awesome to see Chris Paul on the move. I like me some CP3. Shout out State Farm. Next trade we want to talk about. Did you have anything on that, Mike? Nope. Next trade we want to talk about here is some Drew Bledsoe and Bogdan Bogdanović to the Milwaukee Bucks. All right, so here's my thing on this. I fuck with Drew Bledsoe a lot.
Eric Bledsoe.
Drew Bledsoe, Patriots.
No. Yeah. Drew Holiday, Eric Bledsoe, Drew Holiday, and Bogdan Bogdanović. What was I saying? Drew Bledsoe? That's what I have written down. Drew Holiday and Bogdan Bogdanović to the Bucks for Eric Bledsoe, or just Drew Holiday for Eric Bledsoe. Here's my thing. I like it. I don't love it. I think. All right, when I look at Drew Holiday and Eric Bledsoe, Drew Holiday is obviously a better player. I don't really know by how much though. Drew Holiday, I'm fucking that up, dude. Hardcore. Drew Holiday obviously has an all-star season. That was like 6-7 years ago. He's obviously a very, very good defensive player. Very, very good defensive player, actually. All defense. So I think the Bucks definitely got better. I'm just not sure how much. I don't know if Drew Holiday was worth 5 years of first-round draft picks whatsoever. And two, they had to give up DiVincenzo for Bogdanović, which I don't know if I like that all the way either. I thought Dante was a very solid little player. Obviously Bogdanović is super underrated. A lot of people don't know who he is, obviously playing out there in Sacramento. But that dude's a scorer, man. He can play make. I think that's going to be the move. You got to have between Bogdanovich, Drew Holiday, and obviously Giannis. The biggest thing is either when Giannis isn't on the court or it's just not working for him, you got to have someone else on this team that's going to be able to make plays. So, I mean, we're looking at a starting lineup of Drew Holiday, Bogdanovich, Middleton, Giannis, Brook Lopez. I mean, I think the Nets, pound for pound on paper, are still a better team, but that's a pretty solid fucking starting five. We'll see what their bench looks like, but I don't know. What'd you think of this move, Twiggy?
Yeah, I think all the stars are aligning. I think Giannis, with all these moves being made, I think Giannis signed Supermax to stay in Milwaukee. I think they have enough pieces around him now to entice him to stay there. I'd be hard-pressed to find a better starting five than this Bucks team at this point. It's going to provide so much spacing for Giannis just to do whatever he wants on this team. It's going to be a super fun team to watch.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thing, though. You've literally had the best record in the NBA the past 2 years. How much better are you going to be? He low-key just kind of fumbled the bag in the playoffs this year. Like I said, I think they definitely upgraded. They are a better team today than they were yesterday. I just don't know by how that much. I think a lot of that's going to come to – Giannis needs to learn how to shoot a fucking basketball, and I think a lot of things would change. It'd easily be the best team in the league. I think he'd be the best player in the league, too, if he could drain a couple threes a game. That's all he would need to do is like 2. If you could just hit 2 off 4 attempts, 5 attempts, he'd be all right. But yeah, I like the Bucks coming out the East. Better than the Nets, though.
I think I'm the starting five for sure. I think the Nets might make some moves here at the deadline to get Harden. That might change things up.
Which is what I want to talk about real quick. Harden potentially going to the Nets. And we were talking about this a little bit earlier. So Harden has 3 years left on his deal. He obviously declined the 2-year extension that would give him another 5 years, but he still has 3 years left on his deal. Houston Rockets do not have to trade James Harden. They just don't have to. If he says he wants out, they could just decide, well, we're not going to. So they have all the leverage. What I'm saying, here's my argument for the Harden to the Nets is bringing it back to Drew Holiday. They give up 5 first-round draft picks for Drew Holiday, 3 first rounds and then 2 swaps. So Drew Holiday's a nice player, but if you want to come get James Harden, I need 8-9 years worth of draft picks. And I'm being dead serious. I need the King's fucking ransom. If I'm trading Harden, I need Karis LeVert, I need Dinwiddie, I need Jared Allen. I need at minimum 6 first-round draft picks. And here's my thing. I'm looking at that. Does Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jared Allen, that would be a middle-of-the-road team out there in the West as the Rockets. They'd have a shit ton of capital that maybe they could trade off those pieces. You're pretty much just looking for the draft picks. I just don't know. Harden to the Nets, dude. I've heard reports that Kevin Durant really wants it. He's the one that kind of pushed for this. Kyrie is saying that he does not want this, which I don't blame him. One of the big reasons I could see maybe this does happen, D'Antoni now being the assistant coach under Steve Nash, which low-key I think Steve Nash as the head coach for that team is low-key just kind of iffy, dude. I'm not a fan of that at all. I think there are better candidates out there. But now D'Antoni being the assistant, and it's like, who the fuck handles the ball on that offense? It'd have to be Harden. I think Harden would have to be a better playmaker. I think Harden's a better passer than Kyrie. Obviously, Kyrie being a point guard, but Kyrie's a scorer, man, and he's a very good one at that. But I don't know. I just couldn't imagine going to Kyrie Irving and saying we're gonna let James handle the ball. I'm not a fan of that move at all, because then you'd just be giving up your whole bench. I get it. On paper, that's just those 3. That's so flashy. It's like KD is probably the second best player in the league when healthy. James Harden is top 5, and it's like, so yeah, that's an insane lineup. But then you're giving up your whole entire bench. I know you could probably get players to come play there with you for the low, just because they think you're going to have a chance. And I mean, any one of these guys can get you 40 a night. But if I'm the Houston Rockets, I'm not picking up the phone for less than 6 first-round draft picks. I'm just not doing it. I need 6 picks and 2 solid players to even think about it.
I just think it doesn't really make a sense for both teams. If you put Harden, Kyrie, and KD on the same team, you have 3 players with insanely high usage rates. I just don't see that gelling together whatsoever.
I can't see it. It makes no sense.
And you'd have to give up so much just to go out there and get him. You'd be losing so many quality pieces in that offense. I don't like it for either team.
Yeah, and just to like speak on your point there, Twig, we've seen like a couple big names go through Houston as while Harden has been there. Do you think if Harden chooses to move out and go to another team to try to, squad up with some people and create that super team, do you even think he plays well in it? Exactly what you just said. I mean, the usage, it's like, I don't know.
It's just hard to mix personalities with players like that as well. I think Kyrie and Harden on the same team, their personalities would not mesh whatsoever. It just would create so much locker room drama that I just don't see it working at all. I don't think it really matters where Harden goes. He's going to be the face of that franchise. It's going to end up creating locker room problems. Just with another big player on the squad, it's just not going to work. He's got to be the number one option. With him and Russ out there, they just clash heads so much. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think James Harden has just locked himself, I think, into this box where it's like, if I'm not controlling the ball, the offense just doesn't really work. And you bring in a guy like Russell Westbrook. The Houston offense is literally designed to where James Harden is gonna have the ball every single possession. All you need to do is just stand at the 3-point line and hit the fucking shot if he passes it to you. And I mean, Russell Westbrook's never been a good shooter. He's going to eat up half his usage time. So I never saw the point of that trade either. I thought Chris Paul was a better fit than Russell Westbrook, but that didn't really work out either. They had a run, but and what's the common denominator there? We've been talking about James Harden. I think obviously James Harden might be the greatest offensive player ever, just from as far as a walking bucket, Kevin Durant obviously just being efficient. But James Harden just gets points like it's nothing. But that offense has proven year in and year out that it just doesn't work. You can't have a 6'5" dude at center. It's just not going to work. He's obviously going to get numbered. He's been in the MVP conversation for literally the past 4 or 5 years. He obviously has won one. But I think that'd just be a fucking mess of a team. I look at the Brooklyn Nets team right now, and like I said, Kyrie, Dinwiddie, Jared Allen, Kevin Durant. You got Joe Harris in the cut, LeVert. Like, that's a fucking really good basketball team. That if they figure it out, could easily come out of the East. But I don't know, dude. We were talking earlier too. Philly, there's some potential talks with Philly only because they have shit to give up. You could give up Simmons or Embiid. But then I don't know if they have the draft capital. I've also heard too that Doc Rivers wants to just run it back with this team he's got right now, see if he can do anything different, maybe get him over the hump. I think Philadelphia will be better this year with him at the helm, but Western Conference or Finals team, I don't think so. But James Harden, I don't know, because at the end of the day, it could just be a lot of talk, and the Rockets just say, no, we're not going to fucking trade him. So that could be what happens. They could wait till next year. They could wait till the trade deadline. I mean, they got 3 years left to figure it out. He did decline his option, but they got 3 more years of him, so they can do whatever the hell he wants with him. So Russell Westbrook, though, is the other point I want to make. I don't know what he's publicly come out and said that he doesn't want to be there. They got to move off, but I don't know, dude. I don't like his contract. To me, Russell Wilson, my God, bro. I'm saying Drew Bledsoe, Russell Wilson, just fucking it up. But to me, Russell Westbrook is he's a story, dude. You can't tell the story of basketball without talking about Russell Westbrook. Obviously, the shit he did with the triple doubles. Dude's a crazy, he's like the Allen Iverson, our generation. Just a cultural phenomenon. Dude's awesome. His energy, the way he plays, his athletic ability. But he can't shoot the fucking basketball. He's made some threes, but just because you make threes doesn't make you a good shooter. He never has been. We saw what he did when he was at the helm. He obviously had that season, 2016, winning an MVP, going like 3 straight years with a triple-double. But now he's just kind of gotten older, and I don't know. I mean, the athletic ability is going to start to fall off eventually, and the fact that he doesn't really have a shot at this point, I don't see. I mean, he's still going to play at a high level, depending on what you put him on. I've seen talks of him going to the Knicks, where as a fan would be cool to see. But that pretty much just be the Russell Westbrook show. He'd go out there and get his numbers. This team still probably wouldn't be very good. I saw we talked right before we went on live. There was some stuff about Westbrook for a trade with John Wall from the Wizards, which makes no fucking sense to me. Because at this point, dude, John Wall and Russell Westbrook are like the same basketball player. At one point in time, dude, At one point in time, I thought John Wall was a better point guard than Russell Westbrook just because his downhill quickness. I think John Wall is the man, but they're essentially the same guys. They're just two dudes that have always just been super athletic, super quick, and have gotten by with that, and have never really been able to shoot, never really taken shots. They've never had to. They've been able to do what they do. Just from being freak athletes, but I don't know where the fuck Russell Westbrook goes. Like, what do you guys think?
I definitely don't think Harden and Westbrook stay on that team.
That can't work anymore. He's got to go somewhere.
I don't know. A lot is going to unfold tomorrow and in the day of the draft. It's going to be interesting to see. I think there's still so many moving parts that it would be impossible to put him on a spot right now.
I don't know what the fuck you do with him, dude. I don't know what you get back for him, dude. You gave up so much to get him. I don't know. I fuck with Russell Westbrook. Hope they figure it out. I'd love to see that boy get a chip. I'd love to see James Harden get one too, man, because, if he doesn't, he'll probably go down as the greatest player to never win one. Him and Karl Malone, see him in that Charles Barkley bracket and shit. But I just don't think he ever will at this point, unless I don't know, because I don't like the Nets move at all. I don't like that at all. But we'll see what happens. We're going to see some shit pop off tomorrow. One other thing we want to talk about, the last trade we saw that's worthy of talking about before we end things here. Schroeder to the Lakers, another OKC deal, dude. They're just making deals, figuring it out. I think they got the 28th pick this year and Danny Green. There were talks of the Lakers, Danny Green and Kyle Kuzma for DeMar DeRozan, which I like, but I like this trade way more. I like DeMar DeRozan, but I didn't really understand the fit with the Lakers. I like this team way more because Schroeder, one, he is a good defender. Two, I think he's an upgrade over Rondo. One, because he can shoot. He's not a great shooter, but he's a good enough shooter to where I don't think it shrinks the floor for what the Lakers want to do with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. I wouldn't necessarily call him a pick and pop type player, but he can hit enough shots to where he can keep that spacing. And he's obviously a good playmaker. We saw in Atlanta, and then obviously the things he was able to do last year with OKC, in 6 man of the year type shit. I think he's solid, and he got to sit under Chris Paul for a year, learn some things from him. They went deep into the playoffs. He's got playoff experience. I like this fit for the Lakers. I really like this fit for the Lakers. My only thing now is I think they need one more piece. I've saw some shit about them potentially going out and getting Ibaka, which I think would be a bucket because, yes, that's another guy who is a pretty solid rim defender. He was way better early on in his career, but can kind of shoot that three a little bit. And I mean, how to win basketball games 101, have LeBron James on your team, and then just a bunch of guys that can shoot the ball. I mean, that's just how to win games. And, I think Schroeder, and one more piece, I think they need a nice stretch big, someone better than Morris. I don't know what they do with Dwight or JaVale. I think Rondo's gone. Rondo's going to the Clippers, which actually might be a problem because Rondo was playoff Rondo last during the championship, whatever it is. But I like Schroeder to the Lakers. What do you think?
Do we think Schroeder as Danny Green's immediate replacement? Do you think he gets the start of the two, or is he going to come off the bench again?
I think you're going to see Avery Bradley hold down the point because he opted in. I think you're still going to see Schroeder off the bench because I just think he excels, and I think that was one of the biggest problems we saw throughout the course of the playoffs. And as good as Anthony Davis is, he can't really create shots like that by himself. So, you just, when LeBron's not on the floor, it's a whole different basketball team. So if you could have someone, obviously Schroeder's not LeBron, but for someone to be able to come in and just make plays, and hopefully if he can get you 18 a night consistent, that's fine, because that's been my biggest gripe on Kuzma. Obviously I think they still have Kuzma floating, to which I think if they made another deal, if they had to go get Ibaka, they would have to move him, which I don't mind. I'm not the biggest fan of Kuzma. But yeah, I don't know. I like the fit. I don't know what another move they make. There was some very small rumors a couple of days ago of potentially Derrick Rose going to the Lakers, which I would have loved, dude. Derrick Rose is my favorite fucking basketball player. But yeah, I like that, man. Lakers, I definitely think are going to be on top again this year. We got the Clippers right there. Then we keep talking. We got the draft coming up, dude. Golden State Warriors are right there, dude. I think that's going to be a fucking team, dude. I really do. I don't know. The Suns too are going to be right there. It's going to be my only thing with the NBA schedule coming up. If it's coming up the second, is like I don't know if that's going to be fun basketball to watch for a couple weeks, dude. Don't you think those dudes are tired? Like they didn't really
got
have
to be gassed
off
out.
season. They
It's
got
not
to be gassed.
Yeah,
I've heard.
You go out.
I've heard LeBron say some things about. It feels weird to me, dude. Like you guys just stopped playing like a month ago in like a super high stressed environment, and now it's going to come out. I mean, is there going to be no fans? They doing the bubble? Like how are they rolling this out? I don't get it at all.
I don't either. I don't think they go back to the bubble. I think there's going to be too many teams to pull it off again.
Mm-hmm.
I think you probably get limited fans at the stadium, probably like 10 to 15% capacity. It's going to be interesting to see.
Which is like, hey, yeah, I'll give some NFL and the credit there. They've been able to slowly get those fans, more and more fans back each week. And I don't think we've heard any cases. We've definitely heard cases of players and stuff going through it. But as far as fans and stuff, I don't know if I've heard any statistics or anything about fans. So hopefully that's what the NBA does. Because I trust the NBA. NBA held down the bubble. I think if NBA does anything, it's going to be clean. It's going to be safe. So I'm excited for that, dude. That's like a month away. Get some NBA basketball.
They'll play on Christmas. I'm excited for that.
Play on Christmas, dude. Just watch out these next couple of days, dude. There's going to be some trades moving. Shit happen. A lot of rumors. Bradley Beal. A lot of guys here and there. I don't know what happens. I'm super excited. I don't know. You guys got anything else? Any little nuggets you boys got before we wrap her up here?
That's just about do it. I'm excited for another week of football. Some more trades to go down.
Yeah, baby. Shout out. We're going to make a video. Is it this Saturday or next Saturday? I got my girl Valentina Shevchenko in the cut, about to whip home girls' ass. We'll talk about it at a later date. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Salami Squad. Okay, I thought you was going to hit me with something. All right, we out. The meat pack. Get the fuck out of here.